SQUARE-ENIX's much-anticipated RPG remake is likely to release in the next year or so. Here's everything you need to know about it: the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Square-Enix Final Fantasy VII Remake, release date, news, gameplay trailer, updates, rumors and leaks. DS Final Fantasy VII was originally so popular because it was the first RPG to really penetrate the mainstream and enjoy massive success in the West. The remake may be set to evolve away from that legacy, though, with a more pronounced emphasis on action, similarly to more modern Final Fantasy titles. In a recent job listing by Square Enix, the Japanese publisher describes the game as an action title. The job listing, which was posted in the search for a 3D CG VFX designer on the game, notes, action, in the genre descriptor, via Silicon Era. Does this mean we're going to see a battle system totally different from the original game, ditching the ATB active time battle that gave the original game so much of its identity? It seems possible. In the meantime, keep reading for everything we know about the Final Fantasy VII Remake so far. Final Fantasy VII Remake is coming to PS4, although Square Enix is yet to reveal the release date. DS We're as shocked as you that Square Enix neglected to show any Final Fantasy VII Remake information as part of its showcase at E3 2018. The game's absence from the showcase suggests it'll appear at either Gamescom or Tokyo Games Show later this year. If that's the case, the soonest we may hear more will be at Gamescom in August. There is definite progress on the game, though, so don't be disheartened and be patient. Stay tuned, and don't be too disappointed. DS Final Fantasy VII Remake is a remake of the 1997 Japanese RPG, Final Fantasy VII. The game has been requested by fans of the original for a while, and in 2015 developer and publisher Square Enix announced it had begun work of a full-blown remake of the title. The game is being made by Square Enix, and originally had help from developer CyberConnect 2. This relationship was terminated in May 2017, however, and the publisher moved full development of the title in-house, under the direction of Naoki Hamaguchi, director of Mobius Final Fantasy. The team is dedicated to building a solid product, and in a stream talking about the project, Hamaguchi stated, in view of factors such as improving quality, when the product goes into mass production in the future, the company has decided to shift the developmental system back to within the company, so as to maintain a stable schedule and have control over factors such as quality. The game is also due to be released in different parts. Some gamers theorize that these parts will be segmented in the same way the game was broken up into discs in the original PlayStation release. The gameplay will be different to what we've seen from the original game. Combat could be more action-focused if the trailers we've seen so far are to be believed. DS An interview with the director of Final Fantasy VII Remake, Yoshinori Kitase, has surfaced, revealing the developer originally thought that the much-anticipated RPG would take about 10 years to make. According to the interview with Tech Digest's, Kitase took his experience from the development of Final Fantasy XIII to generate the number. An excerpt from the interview reads, "But even Final Fantasy XIII has taken over 3.5 years to create. If we were to recreate Final Fantasy VII with the same level of graphical detail as you see in Final Fantasy XIII, we'd imagine that would take as much as 3 or 4 times longer than the 3.5 years it has taken to put this Final Fantasy together. So it's looking pretty unrealistic. But if any such situation came about by any remote chance, then yes, we'd do it." It's worth remembering, however, that development of the 7 Remake has since been moved to Unreal Engine 4, an engine known to speed things up for developers, and something we are seeing more and more Japanese teams move to. It's also worth remembering that Final Fantasy VII Remake is planned to release in episodes, meaning we could likely see a playable part of the game released before the whole supposed decade-long development cycle is complete. Brought to you by dailystar.co.uk. Many fans were left saddened by the no-show of Final Fantasy VII Remake at E3 2018. Some were even concerned that the game was suffering from development hell, where a project remains in turmoil in internal development. However, speaking to IGN, game director Tetsuya Nomura reassured fans and explained that the game is indeed in development. It's not just in the early concept stages, Nomura noted. We are actually in development, so right now, I've been putting 100% into Kingdom Hearts and 100% into Final Fantasy VII and 100% into Kingdom Hearts and going back and forth. You can see how that'll be stressful. But hopefully once Kingdom Hearts 3 releases in 2019, Nomura will be able to focus himself on Final Fantasy VII Remake. DS the 10th of July 2018. It's been confirmed before that Final Fantasy VII Remake will have a different version of Cloud in it, a redesign of the character model to better reflect how the development team feels about his character. Recently, a Visual Works presentation showed some more images of the character and what he looks like in his most recent iteration. It's worth noting that these images are from the theme park ride at Universal Studios Japan, not directly from the remake. However, if this is the work the studio is putting into a redesigned Cloud, it's not a stretch to assume this is what he may look like in the game itself. In May this year, character designer Tetsuya Nomura explained a little bit about why the team is redesigning Cloud and what they hope to achieve. According to WCCF Tech, Nomura says that this version of Cloud is probably the closest visually to capturing the personality of the original Cloud, i.e. to clarify this phrase that's been thrown about so often from the partial snippets we got a while back. Nomura is commenting on how the visual design reflects Cloud's persona, and they go on to say that visually, they've designed him in a way that captures the way Cloud was not a cool guy in the original game, how he was actually AF****** up just putting on a strong front. They say he looks real, very young this time around, and contrasts him to the AC Cloud, implying a very drastic change from that. You can see the images in the tweet embedded below. The game's developer, SQUARE-ENIX, published a new job listing earlier this year which seemed to ask for a level planner for the upcoming RPG. Gamatsu translated the job advert, and you can read it below. We are examining programs that implement general functions and contents for Final Fantasy VII Remake as necessary on the development team, and while we are reaching a satisfactory level in terms of reproducing the original title in high-quality graphics, we have come to the conclusion that we should aim for even higher quality in order to meet the expectations of fans. That said, we will tackle the production of this big title by establishing core members of various positons such as level planner, battle planner, designer, engineer, etc., including existing members of the development team. Interested applicants are expected to work as a core member. The bad news is if they're hiring core members of the team at this stage in the development, it suggests the title isn't remotely close to completion. Level planning tends to be an early part of development, too, hinting that it's going to be a long time before we see much more of this game. The development team behind Final Fantasy VII Remake has apparently made some massive changes to the game recently. Reports from fans in attendance at the Final Fantasy 30th anniversary event have stated that many elements of the game we've seen so far, in the trailers below, have been changed. This includes the overall design of protagonist Cloud Strife, whose appearance has reportedly been altered to be more in line with his original appearance in the PS1 version of Final Fantasy VII. Square Enix's Tetsuya Nomura stated this new design for Cloud is the closest one to the original up until now. Other attendees at the event note characters look different to their original interpretations. Biggs looks super handsome, Jessie, cute, and Wedge, refreshingly chubby. New screenshots were shared at the event too, but fans in attendance also said that Square Enix are not expected to be sharing these new screenshots to the public for a while. DS The game is confirmed for release on PS4, however, Nintendo Switch fans have been given a big boost about a possible release. Hajime Tabata, director of Final Fantasy XV, previously said that tests had been carried out to see how the Unreal Engine 4 performed on the Switch. This is the engine that powers the Final Fantasy VII Remake, and he said Nintendo's hybrid console handled it well. And now Square Enix, during their latest financial results briefing, have talked about their plans for the Switch. According to Gamatsu's, the Japanese gaming giant said they saw the core architectures of PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch as similar, meaning that if one game saw a release on one console, it's very possible it could come to others, too. Square Enix added that they had high expectations for the Nintendo Switch, and would aggressively pursue development. They added that they would not rule out any IPs, new, existing or even revivals, for the Nintendo Switch. July 15, 2018. Now, take this with a massive grain of salt, but a recent 4chan, via Resetera, post has potentially confirmed a prior rumor that a mini Nintendo Direct would take place in July. We've heard other rumors from more reputable sources about a potential Direct taking place soon, but the clear difference is that this post from 4chan comes with a lot more information about the contents of the Direct. And although it's from 4chan, that hasn't stopped previous 4chan leaks being right in the past. Anyway, one of those rumors includes news of a potential Nintendo Switch announcement for Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now, although we've seen the Nintendo Switch running some rather exceptional-looking games, like Wolfenstein 2, we've far more reasons to doubt this particular rumor. For starters, we've just seen game director Tetsuya Nomura admit that they might have announced the game slightly too early, so the idea they might go one step further and confirm a Switch release too, seems like a bit of a stretch. We'll find out soon, if there's a Direct, but we're not holding out hope for a Switch release anytime soon. Related articles.